According to a report by Kenya's National Commission on Human Rights in 2006, a girl or woman in Kenya is raped every 30 minutes. Many assaults, however, will never be reported due to the stigma and fear. It is a silent epidemic. There is little justice even when the perpetrators are caught. The culture says that girls are to remain sexually pure until marriage. When they are raped, they are treated as impure. Parents will shame and reject them, as does the community at large. Let me introduce you to Lavigne, who knows this stigma all too well.
They're called child mothers, children giving birth to children. At the Mully Children's Family Home at Delani, they are taught how to care for their babies while receiving care themselves. Lavigne is 16 years old. She was pregnant at 15. When her trauma began, she was just 10.
Something terrible happened with your father, I think, didn't it?
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little about that?
My father sexually molested me when I was in grade 6. He started coming towards me and he took out a knife. He was unzipping and he was removing his briefs. So I was wondering what's happening. He pushed me to the bed and he told me if I loved my mother and if I loved my family, if I wanted to keep my family together, I wouldn't tell anyone anything about it. I'd never lain with a man. It was painful. I kept asking him why. He just kept answering me, "It's your mother's fault. It's your mother's fault. She didn't give me a son."
Her mother found out about the rape but never reported it to police. It led to the breakup of the marriage. Lavigne was expected to carry on with life as though nothing had happened. 5 years later, she was beginning to heal when her troubles got a lot worse. It started with an argument with her mother, who blamed her for the split in the family.
And she was like, "Get out. Every time I see you, I feel bad. Just go out. You know what, Lavigne, it's time." Just disappeared from my life. I felt rejected and I just couldn't take it. I couldn't stay there.
It was night time. 15-year-old Lavigne left the house and just a few kilometers down the road was stopped by some drunken boys. One began to touch her.
When I was angry, I slapped him. I got mad and his friends are like, "Who do you think you are? We can do anything to you and there's nothing you can do about it." So they held me and I struggled. I really struggled. They held me and dragged me to that forest on the other side. I kept struggling. I was like, "God, no. Why?" And they took turns. The problem was not them, really. I kept seeing my dad over and over again. I kept seeing him, and it really hurt me so much. And I passed out, and when I woke up, I just found myself there alone. My clothes were torn. I got up. I crawled to the road. There's no one inside because it was early in the morning. I knew where I was, but I couldn't go home like that. If the first caused my mom so much pain, I don't think she could take the second one. I just couldn't go home again. I was stained. I was dirty. I was unfit.
So what did you do?
I convinced myself I was okay. It was just a bad dream and I would wake up from it. The schools opened, I went back to school. We did our open exams, but I realized something was wrong. I had contracted an infection, a sexual disease. I had gonorrhea and candidiasis. I didn't know, but I knew something was wrong.
And when did you discover you were pregnant?
After 3 months, I discovered I was pregnant, and I completely didn't want the baby. I didn't want the baby. I told the doctor, you know, I don't want this baby.
Lavigne arranged for an abortion, but at the last minute could not go through with it. That decision cost her a lot.
When the school realized I was pregnant, they couldn't keep me there in the school anymore. The principal told me parents will start thinking that the school is encouraging teenagers to get pregnant and continue with their schooling instead of discouraging it. So they had to find me a place to live.
Her mother refused to take her back home. But MCF opened its doors, the only children's home that would take a pregnant teenager and provide the medical care she needed.
Physically, I'm getting better. I'm okay physically. The only problem that I have, the biggest challenge is the emotional, the mental trauma.
What has it meant to you to find yourself amongst girls and young women in the same situation as you?
It means a great deal because I realize I'm not alone. It's comforting to know someone has passed through the same thing. Someone else is feeling your pain. Knowing some people, other girls like me, seeing them with their kids, even if the circumstances are different, but they are having kids and they're teenage moms. It's giving me comfort knowing I'm not alone.
And your beautiful baby girl is being looked after so you can have an education.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts now about the future and the baby's future?
I'm praying to God as I'm working. I'm praying to God that He helps me through the future. Because, you know, I wanted to be a psychologist. I want to help people because my doctor helped me.
Now let us solve part C. Part C, we are told to calculate the next.
Lavigne is good at school. She's bright and will qualify for university. But the fees are beyond her reach. If there was a university as part of the Mully Children's family education system, Lavigne would be able to go to university and fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor.